married at first sight. Now, I got a text message from one of my cousins, and she was like, "Cuz, you really watch this show because it's crazy." And she was right. This show is absolutely crazy. The couples are crazy. I feel like a lot of the things that they're expecting is unrealistic. I think that they're unrealistic with what they're wanting from a partner they just met and expecting certain things out of a relationship. If you don't know anybody and you just met the first time you met them, you marry them, how do you expect anything from them? I don't understand. It's Haley and Jake. Those two are not getting along. Haley told him that she is not physically attracted to him. Jake said, "Well, if you're not physically attracted to me, I don't understand what's the point of us continuing in our relationship. There's really no point of me staying here or us, remaining in this marriage." She was trying to say, well, he has to give her time to get physically attracted to him. I guess people who went through arranged marriage went through this, where they weren't physically attracted to their spouse, and then eventually they've learned to get physically attracted to their spouse. But I mean, like, I kind of agree with Jake. If there's something about me that bothers you about me, then what's the point of us continuing in our marriage? And I mean, I'll give it to Haley because she really tried. I mean, she tried to change the conversation. It just was real uncomfortable. They do not get along. They're not compatible. I mean, she went as far as change his look, gave him a makeover. But she decided to give him a makeover to make him more appealing in her eyes. He asked her, "Well, since you're giving me a makeover, are you still physically not attracted to me?" And she said, "Well, yeah, I'm still not physically attracted to you." So they're in two different places. Neither one of them is on planet Earth. Paige and Chris have decided to go their separate ways. And I 100% agree with Paige leaving Chris because, first of all, she didn't know that he was engaged before he married her. She didn't know that the pregnant girlfriend is actually his ex-fiance. So the issue that I have with people like Chris is, Chris, you went from an engagement to a breakup, then marriage. Does that make sense to you? Like, is this a typical guy doing this out of revenge? Because that's how the way that it's coming across. You married because you wanted to seek revenge on whoever your ex was. And you really didn't have any interest in this girl. And then we find out that his ex-fiance is 6 weeks pregnant, but Paige doesn't believe that she's actually pregnant. I think that she's playing a game. That's what she said to his pastor when she did a sit down with him, saying that she doesn't think that they're going to reconcile. He keeps playing the game though. I don't like people like Chris, because Chris is he keeps telling her he don't want her. He's not attracted to her. That's one thing that he said, that he is not physically attracted to her. He married her. He went on the honeymoon. They had an encounter, and he said that he was not physically attracted to her. So that's an issue too. So this is the second couple that's not physically attracted to one another. Even though she's saying with her mouth that she is done, she's still trying to save her marriage, because like, he'll call her and be like, "I want to reconcile," and then he say he doesn't. She is just going back and forth with him. And I feel like it's interesting that she was saying that she doesn't believe that his ex-fiance is pregnant, because she didn't do a sonogram. And she keeps canceling. So she believes that she is not pregnant, but Chris going back and forth just says a lot. She said right after the honeymoon, they didn't even get to live in the same house together. He went straight back to Chicago. And guess who's in Chicago? His ex-fiance. So he's already made his mind up that he doesn't even want the marriage. He's just too indecisive for me. Either you stick it out, try to work it out with this woman, or you don't, or you go back to your ex. And the fact that your pastor, because I watched last week's episode, his pastor told him that he should be raising his child with his current wife, Paige, that she would be better suited as a wife than his ex-fiance. So if and also, I believe it was either his brother or his very good friend said the same thing. Like, do not leave your marriage, do not leave Paige, and do not go back to that woman. So there is something else going on, that there's something wrong with this woman's character. If your pastor and your friend is telling you, hey, you have a catch here, stay here, don't go back there. Like, he's double-minded, like his pastor said. And with a double-minded person, there's like no reason to actually stay with. I think that he wants somebody at Paige's prestige, but he doesn't like the way that she look. And I guess the other woman has the look that he wants. So the whole situation with Paige and Chris is the very reason why marriage at first sight is not a good idea. He just got too much going on. And the fact that they've been married for 2 weeks and his ex-fiance is 6 weeks pregnant. You wasted no time. So that means 4 weeks before you got married, you broke up with your fiance and got married. So next we're going to be talking about Eric and Virginia. Eric is detached from the whole thing, and he wants to be in a marriage where he can be detached and that woman be okay. He works a lot, and his job requires him to always be on the go and always out of town. And when he's out of town, Eric does not text his wife. He doesn't call his wife. So he doesn't really communicate with her. He told her that if she has to be comfortable with him working, because if she doesn't, then they're not going to work, because all his relationships before her failed because of how much he works and how much he puts work above everything else. Like, work is his life. So they're not connecting because of that. So she has to deal with somebody who is cold and distant and just not really interested in the whole connection thing. It's kind of like, okay, well, I want you to be in a relationship with me under these conditions. And these are my conditions. And if you can't meet them, then I can't give it to you. And she also asked him, like, have you loved? Like, or have you been in love? And he said, no. I don't waste time when it comes to relationships. I let women go real fast. If I don't feel like you're giving me something, I'm going to leave you. So that's a red flag right there. He just married somebody just to have somebody to make his bed warm. And that's how the way I feel. Like, that's the whole purpose of him doing the show. Vincent and Brianna seems to be the only couple that's actually going somewhere. They've been married for only 2 weeks and they're already claiming to be in love with each other. I mean, there are stories of people falling in love quickly. For me, I don't buy it, but apparently they're both at the same place when it comes to where they want to be. They want their marriage to work. They want to move forward. They're the only couple that wants to move forward. Carla and Ryan. Ryan is just like, I'm just not really into you like that. I mean, like, that's what he's giving me when he, like, the way that he interacts with Carla. And he's very competitive. Like, they were doing this arts and crafts where what she loves to do, and he was competing with her. So he's very competitive. He's not interested in really getting close to her. Her stuff is in his garage. She's not allowed to move any of her things inside his home. So that's already telling you that he doesn't want you there. I mean, he's having a difficult time connecting with her. He's in a different mental space than her. Very different mental space. He just doesn't want it. And I think that everybody's story, like, almost similar. It's like they're not physically attracted to the person that they married. So the only couples that's really surviving in this whole marriage at first sight is Vincent and Brianna.